we're about to bring up Craig Marin. Craig's father was a cartoonist in vaudeville. Craig fell under the spell of the puppets he saw on local New York television, like Sandy Becker and Chuck McCann. While in high school, Craig formed the Marko Puppet Company, toured colleges and theaters across the country. More on that later. He met his wife and partner, famous puppeteer Olga Felgemacher, in 1978. And
he deserves applause for that.
He very helpfully put it out phonetically, so I could. They formed Flexitoon, a production company that's designed, built, and performed puppets and marionettes on such groundbreaking TV shows as Pinwheel, Nickelodeon's first series, and they were the jukebox band on the hit PBS series Shining Time Station, starring George Carlin and Ringo Starr, as well as the DJ Cat Show on Fox. They're also the Tide Talking Stain in a top 3 Super Bowl commercial. They've toured internationally, been in films and art installations, and are currently in development for a live stage show with a famous rock band. But today, Craig's going to talk to us about a time in 1973 when he and his Marko Puppet Theatre partners recreated the Cocoanuts live on stage starring his puppets. Without further ado, here's Craig.
Are we live here?
Need a picture?
Let's see.
Ready to project it. I don't see no pictures.
It's warming up.
I hear something.
Well, the radio show was a good warm-up, I think, don't you?
Yeah.
That was so great. And Bob, you were terrific. It's a wonderful story.
There you go.
Thank you very much. There we go. And as all you aficionados will notice, I spelled coconuts wrong. Because when we did it back in 1973, there was no corroborating evidence. Where were we going to find things about the Marx Brothers? Very similar to you, Bob. You know, so I think when I was thinking about putting this together, I said, let me go back to the very first time that I saw the Marx Brothers. And it was more than the Marx Brother. It was on the Captain Alan Swift show, and they were showing Popeye. And Popeye imitated this guy, and I didn't know who this fella was, but he was so funny. And I knew he must have been famous because Popeye also imitated Stan Laurel and Jimmy Durante in the same show. And weren't we lucky to know who they were?
Yes.
Amazing, right? And so I had to know more about this, but there was nothing I could know. So a few years later, I slept over my friend Joey's house, and we stayed up really late and watched the Late Late Show, and there was this guy as a real person with his hilarious brothers, and the name of the film was The Cocoanuts, and I went nuts. I had to know everything about them, so young me traipsed into Manhattan from Queens, and I went to the Lincoln Central Library to find out everything I could, and all I could find really was a couple of clippings, a couple of pictures, but it was enough to fuel my imagination. And that carried me through to high school. Well, we put the high in high school at that time, and my friends and I discovered that a little pot went hand in pipe with the joys of the bros. So I said to my friends, gang, let's put on a show. So all of us fellas got together and put on the Cocoanuts. And my friend Michael had a psychedelic addict, and we hung up curtains because blankets make great curtains, alfalfa. And the fellow on the far right with the red jacket and the red eyes, he became my partner in Marko. That's Doug Cohen. But I wrote it from what I could remember. What I didn't remember, I made up the rest. And I wrote it and directed it, and I played Groucho. And as many of you fellows know who have you played Groucho, it's a great way to meet girls. And so I continued working with Doug through high school, and we decided to start a puppet theater together. I was very into puppets for my whole life, and he was into lighting. So we created the Marko Puppet Theatre. And it was as if Zap Comics and the Grateful Dead had a kid. And our first show was called Hal Lewis Nation and Kingdom Come. Hal Lewis Nation? He gets it, okay, yeah. And the shows were very psychedelic, with psychedelic lighting and black lights and psychedelic backdrops and mirror balls, and if I didn't mention it, they were psychedelic. And we set off across the country to tour colleges and theaters along the way, doing our show for like-minded folks just like us, and it was really just so much fun, barnstorming in 2 vans and staying in colleges and meeting all the kind of people that we did, and the show was very well received. And we went out to we settled in San Rafael, California, and at the express purpose of meeting the Grateful Dead. And we met the Grateful Dead, and they invited us to do our show at Jerry Garcia's birthday party. That was a dream come true, I really had to say. Now, wait a minute, is this actually happening? It actually happened. And but what was our next show going to be? So we were rattling some ideas around. What if we do a show about people who put pot in liquor and then they smoke it in a bit? No, wait. What if, you know, we all love the Marx Brothers. I can write it again. What if we did the Cocoanuts with puppets? And they said, let's do the Cocoanuts with puppets. So Holly Smith and I made the Groucho puppet, and that's me on the right. I still have the same bones. I just hide them better. And after we saw that, we knew we just had to continue with this. So before we knew it, we had the whole cast of puppets. And it was so much fun to have the Marx Brothers living in my house. And then as we rounded out the cast, there we go. And as we rounded out the cast, we had to make the rest of the characters as well. And so we did. Magic button, come to life. Boom, there we go. And Bob Adams and Polly, and we played Bob like he was a Dudley Do-Right character, a straight arrow, as opposed to the fellow who played him. And our bad gal was Penelope Bad Gal. We gave Harvey Yates the because we only had 8 hands among us, so we had to do that. And being the hippies that we were, we changed Mrs. Potter to Mrs. Pothead.
Oh, dear.
And then on September 21st, 1971, we opened the show at the Old Nevada Theater. And the theater was once hosted Mark Twain and Will Rogers. So the ghosts of magic were around us the whole time. It felt so good to be able to do that. And just as a side note, a few years later, I was asked to create puppets for the Worcester Foothills Theater Company version of Thurber's Carnival. And somehow I was able to inject my newly minted Groucho, You Bet Your Life Groucho, into Thurber. Worked out well, and like I said, it was a great way to meet girls. So when Trav called us about doing this presentation, Olga and I said, well, we have to dig out the puppets. We really have to find them. So we went to the very back of the very bottom of our storeroom, and luckily our catalog wasn't as crazy as we are, and we were able to put our hands on the puppets. And not only that, we found the original backdrop from the lobby, and I brought that to show you. Bob, would you give me a hand for a moment, please?
Certainly.
Here, no one but you.
Certainly.
Walk away. There you go. You see, and you can see I spelled coconuts wrong.
They didn't correct it in the newspaper clipping. You would have thought, right?
I gave them the press.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
There's where we had Mrs. Pothead lie down,
Beautiful.
and Mr. Hammer's office, and right outside Mr. Hammer's office is, there we go.
That's better, right?
Okay. So that was nice. My friend Michael and I drew this with magic markers and crayons.
Gorgeous.
That was a rush to see. And so I think we've talked enough about the preamble. Maybe now it's time to meet the puppets. be the man behind the curtain for a minute. I always identified with him in The Wizard of Oz more than anybody else. I wanted to be the Scarecrow. And we'll start right here. A tin cigar? Who do you think you are, Jack Haley? Groucho, it's a kazoo. Yeah, well, I think it swallowed a bee. Groucho, may I ask you a question? You just did. No, can I ask you another question, all right? Do you know where you are? Is that a trick question? No, you're at Marxfest. I am, eh? Yep. And then where are you? I'm at Marxfest too. Oh, a metaphor. And I never metaphor I didn't like. Okay, boss. Boss? Don't call me boss. Think of me as your friend. Okay, who can fire you? May I introduce you, brothers? No need. They already know each other. Well, is there anything you want to say before I put you on that stand over there? Yes, I'm innocent! No. Not that kind of stand. All right, so what do you want to say? Give me a note, kiddo. Cold, sober, or blind, from front or behind, you'll always remind me of you. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Stand right there. And now I'm going to slip into something more comfortable over here.
Staring at me.
And he's going to give me a report later, Bob.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a cartoon of Oscar Shaw in the other room, by the way. Craig, I'll have to show it to you.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Chico!
Yeah.
That's the fine, that's the fine. Yeah, that's a good, yeah. How do you do? How do you do? How do you do? I do it myself. You know, I asked your brother a question and he didn't know the answer. That's because he was playing dumb. Wait a minute. He wasn't playing. I asked him this and I'll ask you. Do you know where you are? Sure. I'm one of you all. And I hope you wash your hands. Okay, well that's a good day now. So, you look pretty good. Sure, I've been living in a box since 1972. Well, I want to say that, you know, our time is growing short. Hey, how can something grow short? Well, I'm going to put you on the stand over there. Is that okay? Okay. Say goodbye. Arrivederci. Hey, that's a good.
That's fine. That's it.
So you keep an eye on Bob too. Which one? You can keep both. That's that Bob. And now, of course, the piece de resistance, the bro who I know won't give me any back talk. Let's hear it for Harpo! Harpo? Harpo. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. Did you say honk? Was that a honk? Either it's foggy out or a duck is having an orgasm. Yeah, it is! It's Harpo! Come on down, Harpo! Don't pick any pockets while you're at it. Or any noses either. Just come on down here. Harpo, how are you, my man? Let's just say hello and how do you do? Harpo, give me. Harpo. give me a... you're going to do that again. Would you... Harpo, would you just shake hands, please? Come here. I'm glad you could make it finally because, we were running out of time. Oh. I guess you're clock-eyed. Yeah, you agree. Well, is there anything you want to say to everybody? What? You want to speak to everybody? This is at a Marxfest. Let's go. Come on. Let's take center stage there. This is great. Ladies and gentlemen, Harpo. There you go. Harpo. Oh, hey. Come on over. This is your chance. This is your opportunity. Give it all you got, son. I haven't heard anybody talk that much and not say anything in a long time. You must be a politician. Oh, hey, ho. Well, what is it? One more thing you want to do before we bail out? Come here. What? Aha, okay. Oh, the end. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been... What? Not the end? The end. Are you trying to tell me that maybe it doesn't have to stop now? That maybe we'll do the Cocoanuts again with puppets? That would be, stand over there, seeing all those great cartoons with all the celebrities in them, we thought maybe we should do a show, like a hotel nostalgia show, where Groucho Marx is the proprietor of the hotel. And Charlie Chaplin is the gardener. And Laurel and Hardy, they eat at the fancy restaurant.
And Mae West provides the entertainment.
And Abbott and Costello are the bellboys. And Inspector Clouseau, well, he solves the mystery. And Leo Gorsi is what you call your smooth-talking lawyer type tongue. And they could all be in Once Upon a Hotel. Is that what you're thinking too?
All right.
Okay, well maybe so. We'll file that under the realm of when, okay? But until then, I'm going to tell you something. I think that the future of the past looks great, you guys. So, on behalf of all the Marx Brothers puppets and Harpo, thank you so much for paying attention and enjoy the rest of the